Hello, you are welcome to Angry Billionaire Business School, where we talk about life and how to live life by design. You deliberately create the kind of life you want to live. You make it real, you make it as down to earth as possible, so that anybody, whether you are educated or not, you will understand what we are talking about. We, as usual, we are here at the palace of the Inyetri of ancient Angmi Kingdom. We are here in the palace of His Highness Eze Emeka Ogbonna. You are welcome, Your Highness.
Thank you, Nzobi.
Yeah, he has not been around for some weeks now, but today he's around, so we say we have to talk about something new. So what we want to talk about today is the law of assumption. The law of assumption, I think it was popularized in the 1940s by somebody called Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard, I think he was born 1905. He passed away, I think, in the early 70s or so. But he talked a lot about it. So today we want to see what law of assumption is, or is it another like another name for law of attraction or all that. But we talk about that briefly and how to apply it deliberately to our life and how you can apply it and get results. So, Your Highness, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, sir. So, sir, Your Highness, by definition, what is the law of assumption?
Well, like the law, assumption is the, I think, noun form of assuming, right?
Yes.
Assuming something. That's what assumption is. But Neville Goddard, created something that he called the law of assumption.
Okay.
The law of assuming something, which he used the power of belief and the power of imagination.
Okay.
That you can use the power of belief and power of imagination to create the reality you want. And then when you use the two to create the thing you want, you use your ability to assume that you have already gotten what you want.
Okay.
And that, the whole thing is about just believing that you have, acting as if you have gotten what you want.
Okay. Act as if and it will become.
Yes.
Okay.
So you first, get clear about what you want.
Okay.
You use the imagination to create it.
Okay.
You use your power of belief to hold it.
Okay.
And then assume and believe that you have it. The power of assumption.
Your Highness, the way you define this thing now, I want us to say it. I would like you to say it in a way that an 80-year-old woman will get it clearly, because from what you have said, you said use your power of imagination and hold it, and it's not everybody that quite understands that. But what the question that comes to my mind is this: this feeling, the affirmation that somebody sort of imagining. For some people, some people can't imagine. How about when you say it? Is there a form of also assuming that you've gotten it?
Well, I don't know. I don't agree with you that I think some people may not have the ability to imagine.
Yeah.
But imagination is the factor, is one of the faculties of the mind of man.
Okay.
Maybe some people is not properly developed.
Yeah.
But imagination, it has to do with the mind.
Yes.
You use your imagination to create what you want. Then you use your power of belief to believe it, and use the faculty of will to hold it.
Okay.
Assume it as if, see it that is already
there. You already have
already gotten it.
Okay.
That's the law of assumption, and he has, he went ahead to develop like 6 principles. 6 principles of it.
Okay.
Which he calls which he used to make up the law of assumption. It's just a theoretical development or a hypothesis or something that you call it, that he derived to help one believe and achieve anything that he wants.
Okay, before we go to that 6 hypothesis or theories, I want to know, this law of assumption, from what you said now, I see it as, okay, you have a desire. Take for example a basic, let's say basic desire now. Let's say you desire that somebody will call you. Maybe somebody you want to talk to and you don't want to call the person, to just to put it to a test. You expect the person to call you on phone or somehow, or send you an email. How do you use this? How do you assume it so that the person will?
Well, by the time you are already expecting somebody to call you,
Yes.
it means that you have passed the first step of getting clear about your desire, getting clear about what you want.
Okay.
That's when you're expecting the person to call you, is it not?
Yes.
And you have done the first one. Now you use your power to believe that the person has already called you.
Okay.
You believe in your heart that that person has called you.
Yeah.
Use your will and then make sure you're not distracted from that belief.
Okay.
You begin to act as if you already called, and the result of what you, if you are called,
okay,
the result that would have come out if you are called, you begin to see it, you assume it, you begin to consummate it.
Okay. I'm reminded again of something you've said before. This one of the discussion we had. You said there was a time your business, you wanted to increase your sales for that month or something, and you apply, you have an affirmation which you said, and and you were working, and at the end of that month or so, you made exactly or more than that, or about that amount you targeted. Is that a way of assuming?
Yes, it's a way of that is part of the way to assume and to manifest anything you want. First you be clear about what you want. What do you really want?
Okay.
You see it with your mind. You see it in your mind, inner mind.
Okay.
You maybe can write it down.
Okay.
And then believe it, and begin to believe and assume that you have already behave in such a way that you have already gotten it.
Okay. Like before I came to Pala this morning, I was listening to one video. I put it on play as music. So the lady in the video was saying that, look, no matter the method you want to use, whether you want to start writing it or think it or affirm it or shout it, that what matters is just know that that thing you are desiring is done, as in it is done right now. So it's like you made an order for something you are sure that will come. It's just like boiling water, for instance. You're applying heat, you know that the water will boil. So from what she says is that the law of assumption is just knowing that here again, as in this thing will happen, this you have said. And she was like, said we should try something for 3 days and see what will happen. I think maybe we will do that also, and in the next 3 days we just pick something simple, because this is a school, so there should be test. Okay. So Your Highness, what will you say regarding what that woman is saying?
This thing, what she's saying is what Neville Goddard had taught, and a lot of other thought leaders have taught.
Yeah.
And quantum physics and the discoveries in technologies that we have now have already confirmed those things, that we are all related, we are all connected, all phenomena are connected. And that when you, like what you said about when I actually wanted my business to improve, I held it, I wrote it, and I keep reading it every evening. When I come back, I will read it, and I will lie down and sleep. And after some time, the whole thing started reflecting in what I was doing, the services I was rendering. A lot of people started demanding the services. And then other ideas, some other creative ideas started coming up.
Yeah, that's what I really wanted, because like something will change in you.
Yes.
Something will change. Just like somebody is earning 10,000 naira and the person wants to earn 100,000 naira. I think there must be a change either in thought, in behavior. As the thought changes, and I think one of the main thing is someone to be persistent.
Yes,
right?
the persistence is a step there.
Okay.
You know, first, like we said, you have to be clear.
Okay.
You have to be clear about your desire, what you want.
Okay.
You have to believe that it is possible, right?
Yes, yes.
And you have to hold that objective, that your desire, you have to hold it in your mind. And you know, the belief, and keep repeating it. Keep repeating in your mind, keep seeing it, keep visualizing it, and adding feelings and emotion to it. It will come to
the feeling and emotion. Now I think, Your Highness, is it not that feeling and emotion comes naturally as you keep focusing on that thing?
Yes, you see, when you see what, to add feelings to something is usually difficult.
Yes.
But what Neville Goddard found out that when you see the end, you see the end of what you want.
Yes.
And then you get excited that you've already seen the end. It creates some feeling in you.
Yeah.
You understand? It creates some feeling in you. And that feeling, that emotional, attachment to it is what would help to fertilize it.
Wow,
because it will help your reticular articulating system to hold it. And when it does it, even when you're sleeping, your mind will be doing the repetition, the act of repetition, the act of visualization, and what you are looking for or what you have created will come closer to you and come to reality.
That means we should look at it from the angle of, a father promising a child, maybe a child of 5 years, they easily believe that, okay, I'm going to buy you a bicycle, for instance. And the child knows that the father is loving, caring, and is capable.
The child does not, at that level, does not even need to know. You see, when you tell a child that is about 5 years that you're going to buy the child something, the child automatically believes you.
And gets excited.
And because he believes you, gets excited, you may have forgotten that you told him. But somehow, because of that belief of that child, something will make that thing come to you.
Wow.
And you buy it without even remembering that you have made that belief.
So belief is very, very important.
It's very powerful.
It's very, very powerful. So that feeling, like for example, the child we're talking about in this case, the child knows that he will get a bicycle. In fact, he will start telling his friends and anybody that cares to listen.
But the child doesn't need to know the law of assumption, because already he acts. The child acts according to the law of assumption, because it's a natural process.
I think, Your Highness, we all are
in our development, the development of our minds.
Yes.
The first 7 years, there is no analytical mind. The analytical part of our mind is not developed. So it is receiving, and anything you receive, enters. The child believes everything that you tell the child. That's why if you really want to cause revolution in any place, in any community, in any community, for instance, we want to change how the future of this community will be. We should concentrate on the little children. When you concentrate on the little children who are between 1 and say 7, and then you begin to transform them, begin to make them to understand these things, in the next 10 years, you will see that the community will change, because their way of thinking, their way of behavior and activity will change. And that's why it's somehow very difficult, to correct some of the things that are happening in our country now. Because what people are simply doing is manifesting what is already in their consciousness, and what has been, put there. And so if we are serious about causing change in this country, in this community, we should come around, articulate programs that will target more of our little children whose analytical minds have not developed. When you tell something, you tell him to put hand in the fire, he will not think twice. He will put the hand. When he gets experience, now he will now know. So those are it's just the law of assumption. He talked about 6 principles. He said the principle is, that assumptions creates reality. As a matter of fact, that every reality that is created around you.
Yes.
Is created by you, maybe knowingly assuming that this thing will come to pass, or you unknowingly, you're knowingly, but you assume, but you didn't know. You are not conscious about the knowing or that assumption, and that imagination is a creative force. He taught so much about imagination. As a matter of fact, Neville Goddard called imagination Christ. He said imagination is Christ, because he said it is imagination that creates everything. He said it's imagination that if you have a problem with your brother, for instance, and your brother has made you angry, that is only when you begin to use the power of imagination that maybe you begin to imagine good things about your relationship with your brother, and everything,
or your sister.
That problem will be solved.
Okay.
So he talked about feelings. These are like the principles. Feelings is the secret. He wrote a book on feeling is a secret. That when you have all these things and you're not emotional about it, you'll not be able to.
It's like feeling is the fuel.
The fuel that the energy. That gives it energy.
That gives it energy to
materialize.
Okay.
And then it's talked about you always have to keep focusing at the end.
Okay.
Focusing at the end. You have to always focus at the end. And then you be persistent.
Focus at the end as in knowing that this thing has happened.
Seeing the end, seeing that thing that you want. You always train yourself to always see it. The law of assumption is based on those 4 or those 6.
Okay.
So I think the last one is that you should believe that everything around you, even everyone around you, is you pushed out. How people around you behave is your consciousness.
Okay.
That is in you that is reflecting in.
So anything you see right now, even as we are here in the palace, it is what our consciousness that made everything to materialize like this.
Yes. So he went. Okay. So in applying the law, like we have said, you have to define you have to define your desire clearly. Remember, the Bible said it somewhere. We have repeated it here a number of times. The Bible says, write it down so that when the words, the birds fly, they fly with it. So it's very important. You say, imagine the scene that your desire is already fulfilled. These are the way to when you clearly define your desire. You imagine that is already fulfilled.
Just know that it's a done deal. How it will. There's one catch to this thing. What is that problem? The catch is that once you start imagining this thing or assuming that you already have it, that you already eat or you're already doing it, that we should not have any attitude or say words in contradiction. But this thing happens. So how do you?
What Neville Goddard was talking about is for us to get transformed to a level where you don't live in any 2 states. You live in only one state at a time. You live in one state at a time. So if your consciousness, you're not going to that consciousness of manifesting that thing that you want, you have not gotten there. So you cannot be there and here. You cannot be in Omaha and then you're here at the same time. So what I want us to appreciate and understand from what he teaches is that if it is clear to you and you believe this thing, you believe, in your creation,
your ability to
when you create, and then you believe that it will come to pass when you focus on it.
Yes.
Then you don't have any need to, because you're moving away from that focus. Is another creation.
It's another state.
Another state. And when you get to that state, you create a new thing. You see, you're looking at creating a telephone, for instance, or this tablet.
Okay.
You want to create it, and then you focus, you move away from it and focus on that thing. You are going to lose creating it.
The creative ability or some ideas will not be flowing. Towards creating.
Is when you look at the 7 hermetic principles, there's a law of cause and effect. So at any level that you are, you reflect, you create the effect that is directly proportional to that level.
Okay.
Do you understand it? So you cannot be, that's one of the challenges we have. When people talk about being in Christ, being born again, and they think that they can have the consciousness of Christ
Yeah.
and still have the consciousness of the devil at the same time. It's a contradiction. It's something that is not possible. You either have one or the other.
Yeah.
But what happens is that, you know, it's fluid-like in nature.
Yeah.
We're not always, we can be satanic today. Tomorrow we be Christ-like.
What is it?
So,
what is it? You know, we are from Imo State, the Igbo sect. There's this adage that we have mentioned. I've mentioned it here before, and I so much believe in it. And anytime I hear somebody say that thing, it strikes a chord, a pleasant chord in me, and that is Onyekwe, Chiekwe, which loosely translated is if you agree,
if you believe
that you want to do something, you want to achieve something, that your chi, which is your God, your inner person, your being, yourself, the higher power. So we also say agree with you. We always say yes.
The proper interpretation of that if you believe, if you agree, all the forces, all the factors that are supposed to contribute for the realization of that thing must succumb
because
and bring their
because everybody has authority.
Yes, everything will listen to you.
So
that's what we are saying, that you are the force that
we are powerful. We are powerful, and I think Henry Ford also what he popularized. I know the thing did not reach there. Somebody said he also had it from somewhere, Buddha or somewhere, but he popularized, and people quote him that he said Henry Ford, the American industrialist, that about the type to do with cars. He said, if you believe, what did he say that?
You see, when you believe that you can, you are true.
You are right. You are correct.
And if you believe you cannot,
you cannot.
You are equally right.
You are equally right. So what?
Whatever is like Onyekwe, Chiekwe, like our people say.
Yes.
The way you believe, it works for you. Whatever you believe works for you. That's what it means. So those are the things. Our life run around our belief, and we don't know. We don't know. Sometimes we're looking for something. We're looking for our savior from somewhere else. But like we used to say here, where everything is given to us. And sometimes, when you're looking for something you already have in your pocket and you're looking for it outside, will you be able to find it?
No, it's already
you will not find it. And so
that's
it.
Your Honor, to wrap up this episode today, is there a caveat? Can somebody use, since we say you can actually achieve anything you want, supposing somebody, like you said, maybe they created somebody to be devil, and can you assume for evil to happen to somebody and that thing happens? Is it possible that somebody can desire evil for someone else and that thing happens?
No, I don't believe in those things. I don't believe in it because if you desire evil, if you want evil to happen to anybody, the evil will first happen to you.
Yes.
And by the time it has happened to you, you'll not be available for it to happen to another person. Do you understand? So if you're praying that somebody will have evil, when you look at, if you can extract the formula from what we are saying, because you have to be emotionally charged. So you are negatively charged about that evil. Who will it affect? It will begin to come out from you.
From people I've been viewing and from our interactions with you, we know that you don't believe in all this, that anything juju or that you don't believe it, but there are people that still believe to that thing.
I was watching one CIA diary or something. When they are talking about, there were times some British soldiers were, kidnapped in Sierra Leone. During that time, there were problems in Sierra Leone. There are peacekeepers. They were just going for maybe surveillance or something, and then they were kidnapped. And those people who kidnapped them believed in juju. They believed juju, and then they were asking for negotiation. The British people did not believe in juju.
Juju is voodoo.
Voodoo, they didn't believe in juju, and they knew that these people believe in juju, and because of it, it will give them courage to be able to face them. But meanwhile, those people who believed in juju, they were defeated, they were killed, and even their leader taken away. See, that belief in juju is not the really juju is the juju that will make you create things that agrees with the law of
life, law of nature.
Wow. Yeah, so
okay, I don't know if we also have in the Kennedy in the building Parliament and in the car. I don't know whether anybody has any question or anything want to throw in briefly before we call it a wrap today. Anybody? Okay, so we all understand it very well. So I think we. Okay. Right. So like we said, this is a school. It's a school to everybody. Life is itself is a test. You have to pass the test to move to another level. So what we want to do here is in the next 3 days or 1 week or 2 weeks thereabout, pick something so that you will see the validity of what is science, what we've discussed here today. 3 days, pick anything you want to achieve and believe it, let feeling come to it, and you will see it will happen. Until see you again, cheers.